Thank you. My name is Moneta Goldsmith, and I'm not sure what page number this is going to be on. There's 2 pieces, and it's the second piece in the book if you want to follow along. The first one is called Least Cruel Method for Cooking Crabs. Sorry. And I was instructed to tell myself while I'm up here that I'm awesome. So I'm trying. It's easy because my grandfather was a snake charmer, so I think I can pull it off. Okay. What a minimally cruel pursuit. In order to cook live crabs, here's what you do. Place each crab in a medium-sized bucket. Find 2 blocks of ice. And just before turning out the lights in the kitchen, place those blocks of ice inside the bucket above the crabs. Then cover the blocks of ice in the bucket that contain the crabs and cover them completely. After a few moments of crab confusion, the crabs will believe that it is winter and they will start to fall asleep. Meanwhile, on the other side of the stove, boil a pot of water. It is important to perform this step solemnly, with caution, and out of earshot of your unsuspecting companions. As a rule, crabs have mercifully poor hearing, especially while hibernating, but they are highly evolved in matters of spirituality, possibly gnomic, even by crustacean standards. So it would be wise to murmur a short prayer before lighting the burner on the oven, just in case. Then, once the water boils, reach lightly beneath the blocks of melting ice. If necessary, hold a wax candle in your free hand. The use of smartphones and flashlights is not recommended due to a widely held belief that aquatic species, bottom dwellers especially, are more sensitive to radioactivity than are humans. Anyway, wax candles are safer. There are always more of them. Later, when it is time to transport the crabs one by one into the thermal piping hot springs, do it quickly without resting too much between the crabs. It is crucial for the purposes of this exercise that the window of time between crab convoys be minimal. I repeat, your candle should under no circumstances burn to its wick before you have finished with this step. Finally, try not to turn away when the crabs turn white and slack, and then dinner. Rinse out the bucket for signs of bacteria and other crab offerings. Replace the lid on top of the tempered water. You will respect yourself more for this step once night falls and you unplug your record player for the evening. When the coarse sound of the record continues to spit and sputter for a moment against the record needle, and all the whiskey in the world has not been enough to rinse away the metallic aftertaste of crab and of crab tears. Carry a book to the bedstand. Do not wonder too long whether rooms were designed to be this quiet, or crabs were meant to make so much noise beneath blocks of ice, even for that brief moment with their little slanted eyes half shut, pretending to be asleep. There's a pretentious endnote to that piece that I'm not going to read. I'm going to spare you. And I think it's in the book. And first of all, it doesn't fit the piece. But that's neither here nor there. Once you hear the title of this next longer piece, you will know that there's no more room for any more pretension. Sorry, no banter. Less talk, more talk. Okay, The Human Conditioner. An open letter to Rumi from Sisyphus and from other justifiably crestfallen existential thinkers. Dear Rumi, there is something that happens in the cereal aisle of every single corner store after hours that I am pretty sure you are not aware of. Mainly this. Every single item on the cereal shelf proves that it is not, nor ever was, not even a little bit illuminated. Not for you, nor for anybody else, not really. Instead, under this particular set of circumstances, Rumi, there is something about spirituality that puts the self on trial. as if the two were incompatible with one another, the self and actual awareness. So let me explain something to you, Rumi, for once. And no, Rumi, when I say the word you, I do not mean 1,000 universes. You see, after hours in a Duane Reade, every single item on the shelf becomes maximally delicious for no one. Each cereal wants to climb the mountain of your throat just to prove that suicide is the only important question that should ever be on that part of your tongue. To cascade the way it was meant to, numbed in shreds, insolvent, inside your bleeding, gluten-free black and blue gums, every dirty, rotten, stale, and rancid item risks his or her own authenticity, Dawson, despair, anguish, which, for many of the less serious thinkers among us, Rumi, are more or less the same thing. Most people don't know this, but late at night in the cereal aisle, gluten and high fructose, they become the dogma and the spin doctors of breakfast foods, here to help you read all of the time signatures of your own non-existence. Just as cocoa puffs another fat one, cocoa is the high chief of the tribe, and I do mean high chief, Rumi. Fruity Loops the side effects, shotgunning every single bit of smoke from cocoa's trans fat, fructose black lips. Fruity is the brand ambassador. He seems to possess a flair for the dramatic. So Raisin Bran becomes jealous. Cheerios, Cheers, and Bad Faith, talking about Rumi this and Rumi with a view and something called self-deception, which Rumi also never knew. How every tasty treat on the shelf is really just a closet anti-Semite racist pinko commie, and Captain crunches everything and non-thing Dawson and Hagen-Dawson until he questions even the prospects of milk or love, and for like 4 straight hours becomes preoccupied with whether or not Tony the Tiger is like a corporeal figment of his imagination, or some shit like that, until opening time, Rumi. Rumi, there are some times when I pick up a piece of paper with your poem on it, and all the words, they just slide right off. The exact opposite of alphabet soup for the soul. There are some times, Rumi, when I think that you were the kind of guy who probably smoked a lot of pot and were not very honest about it to your friends. Rumi, there are some times I would like for you to admit that you were wrong. Other times, I would like nothing more than for you to apply a dash of human conditioner to my scalp and work it into a lather of something like stark, empty calm. When I say my scalp, Rumi, I mean torpid, mind-sucking insomnia, crisis, something like spiritual bankruptcy reaching in the cereal aisle of a Duane Reade after hours. When I say stark, empty, I mean for you to hear me twice. When I say lather, I mean lather. I mean go, gently, always. I mean now. Thank you.